According to General Hospital spoilers, at least 4 June surprises are on the way, which means that certain romantic storylines will heat up. Viewers will see numerous duos get closer, so let's speak about what happens next for these individuals who are falling hard. Carly Spencer took some time to properly open her heart to Jack Brennan, but now she's fully committed. Carly cares deeply for Brennan and believes in him, despite the skeptics. Of course, this is a mistake because Brennan is holding secrets, particularly regarding Jocelyn Jack's WSB recruitment. Nonetheless, Carly will remain unaware of this information for the time being, and will shortly make a romantic effort for Brennan. According to GH spoilers, Carly's present for Brennan will arrive in June, so anything she presents should have an impact on him. Brennan will be determined to maintain his relationship with Carly, but this may get increasingly difficult as Jocelyn's objective becomes more complex. Jocelyn's goal is becoming more challenging, which will have an impact on her relationship with Vaughn. Fans can tell Vaughn and Jocelyn have chemistry, which will lead to some enticing moments as they go into some tight situations together. Jocelyn and Vaughn will become quite close, and they may kiss or perhaps hit the sheets as the quest goes. Mixing business and pleasure is frequently a recipe for disaster, and Vaughn and Jocelyn may be no exception. Cody Bell and Molly Lansing Davis will have an unexpected encounter that moves their love ahead. A chance Metro Court meeting will allow Molly and Cody to get to know one another even better. The more time Cody and Molly spend opening up to each other, the faster they can get the show on the road with the romance that is clearly forming. Could Molly and Cody get in bed together before June ends? Kai Taylor is on cloud 9 after his treatment was successful, and he recently made love with Trina Robinson for the first time. However, everything seems a little too good to be true. The show appears to be preparing Kai for a collapse by having Trina console him when terrible news arrives. Trina is preparing for a crisis with Kai, because he may experience a surgery-related setback after all. Kai may try to drive Trina away, but you can guarantee she will fight for him, no matter what hurdles arise. According to General Hospital spoilers, several love twists and turns are still in the works, so stay tuned for more information on these and other characters. Romance in Port Charles is always fraught with complexities, and as June 4th approaches, the atmosphere is rich with tension, desire, and secrets about to burst. The heat isn't just in the air. It's in the glances exchanged, the unresolved feelings that linger in the room, and the decisions the characters must make. With 4 love tales twisting in unforeseen directions, the calm before the storm has ended. What happens next could change everything. Michael and Willow sat together in a quiet area of the Metro Court, seeming to be enjoying their meal. The sun shines in through the tall windows, and their talk revolves around safe themes like Wiley, work, and the nurse's ball. But it's a thin veneer. Underneath, both of them feel the weight of Nina's newest stunt, and the devastation it has caused. Willow can't stop thinking about Michael's face when he told her what Nina said. An ultimatum disguised as a plea. And Michael? He's exhausted. I'm tired of the manipulation. I'm tired of pretending Nina's concept of tranquility is real. He reaches for Willow's hand, and she allows him to grasp it, but the quiet between them speaks more than words. She wants to trust Nina, needs to, in some ways, but whenever she tries, the ground underneath her moves. Michael, for all his calm and reasoning, is keeping something back. Something he has not told her yet. That item is what he discussed with Ned and Tracy the day before. About leverage. About borders. About safeguarding their family from the long-term harm Nina could cause if she is left unchecked. Michael has more power than Willow understands, and he has already decided how to use it. But he hasn't told her because he is concerned that if she notices how calculated he has become, she will begin to question whether he is changing into someone else. Someone she does not recognize. Meanwhile, only a few tables away, another complicated relationship lurks in the shadows. Dex and Jocelyn, wrapped up in their usual mix of rage and frustration. She's annoyed because he's been distant all week, ever since Sonny called him back in for another of his covert operations. She despises this aspect of their relationship. The quiet, the unpredictability, the feeling that she is constantly fighting with a world she does not belong to. Dex tries to explain without actually saying anything. He assures her that it is not harmful, just logistics, loose endings. But she can see it in his eyes. Restlessness, remorse, and an inability to meet her gaze. They argue quietly at first, then loudly. Joss accuses him of being like every other man who claimed to be different. Dex responds, informing her that she knew what he was when she fell for him. He's not a college boyfriend with secure plans and a 9-to-5 future. He is a soldier. A loyalist. And Sonny continues to hold his leash, no matter how badly he wishes otherwise. Jocelyn, hurt, jumps up quickly and prepares to leave, but Dex grabs her wrist. He draws her back down, softer and more honest. He tells her he is trying. He wants a way out. That he has spoken with someone who may be able to assist him in permanently leaving that world. But he isn't ready yet. Not until he is certain she will still be present when it is over. This causes her pause. She examines his face, noting the flaws in the armor and his despair. Perhaps there is yet hope for them. Perhaps not. But for now she remains seated. In Port Charles, Trina stands alone in the gallery, staring at one of her most recent images. The gallery is quiet, closed for the day, but she needed time to reflect. She and Spencer have been discussing the same concerns for weeks. His relentless urge to mend things and protect others around him frequently makes her feel like an afterthought. She knows he adores her. She understands he means well. But love means little if it is always overwhelmed by disorder. And chaos appears to follow Spencer like a shadow. The door quietly opens, and she recognizes him before turning around. Spencer's presence is like a storm coming in, charged and hefty. He walks up alongside her and also looks at the photograph. It's a candid photo of a street performer in Paris, taken during a solo trip she took following one of their numerous breakups. She feels the recollection pressing in, intense and bittersweet. He says very little at first. Just stands there, hands in his pockets trying to find out where to start. When he eventually speaks, he does it with quiet humility, which surprises her. "I'm sorry. I thought I could fix everything, including Esme, Ace, and the Cassadine situation, and still hold on to you. But I understand it's not fair." She nods slowly. It's the first time she's felt he truly sees her in weeks. "I love you, Spencer," she confesses. "But I can't be your refuge if you continue to make every aspect of our lives into a battleground. I need some peace. And you have to desire it, not just claim you do." Spencer nods and reaches for her hand. She does not draw away. Not yet. Perhaps this is the turning point. Perhaps it's just another stillness before the storm. But for the first time in a long time, they're communicating in the same language. On the other side of town, in a very different environment, Ava sits on the edge of her penthouse balcony, sipping wine and watching the city light up beneath her. She's waiting. Not for phone calls or visitors. For him. Nicholas. She's been assured that he's alive. She has heard the voices. And now she can feel it in her bones. He'll eventually make his move. Her thoughts turn to Austin, the man who previously appeared like a wild card, but is now a ghost she's not sure how to feel about. His demise generated more questions than answers. Nonetheless, her heart remains entwined in memories she can't quite untangle. Then there's Sonny, always close and deadly. He knows more than he admits. It always has. But even he seems out of sync lately, distracted by something Ava can't quite place. When the doorbell eventually rings, she does not move. She already knows it isn't the doorman or a neighbor. She moves deliberately to the door, sets down her drink and opens it. That's him. Nicholas. Alive. His skin is paler and thinner than she remembers, but his eyes remain the same. Haunted, brimming with secrets. Ava does not speak. Neither does he. They stay silent for a long time before he adds, "I didn't come to fight." She narrows her eyes. "So why did you come?" He enters without asking for permission, and Ava does not stop him. She's too astonished to process everything. He paces for a bit, raking his hand through his hair, before returning to her. "I came to explain everything. And to see whether there's anything left between us that's worth rescuing." Ava laughs, but there is no humor about it. "You've disappeared. You left me for dead, Nicholas. What might be left?" Even as she speaks, her voice cracks. She hates the fact that a part of her still feels something. That portion of her is still seeking answers. Still wants him. Nicholas moves closer. "Let me tell you the truth. Then make a decision." The door closes behind them. Whatever happens next will not be straightforward. It is never with them. Back in Metro Court as the night falls, more pieces of the puzzle change. Valentine sits at the bar, nursing a drink while staring blankly at his phone. He has been avoiding Anna for days, ever since his falsehoods began to press in on him. She knows. She doesn't have proof yet, but she knows. And he can feel it slipping away, the fragile trust that they worked so hard to restore. He considers texting her. Only a few words. A warning. An apology. Something. But he does not. Instead, he finishes his drink and requests another. There's a storm approaching, and he knows he might not be able to outrun it. Finn travels down the hospital hallway, looking into exam rooms and avoiding Elizabeth's floor. Their relationship, if it can be called that, is on thin ice. His relapse, instability with his father, and Violet's anxieties are all too much. And Liz? She's tired of carrying the weight of his mess. They have chatted. They have tried. But love is insufficient when trust is lost. Finn is currently distrustful of himself. Liz and Portia sit in the nurse's lounge, sipping lukewarm coffee. She's silent and pensive. Do you still love him? Portia asks. Liz does not respond right away. I do. But I'm not sure if I can keep doing this. I feel as if I am waiting for the next error. The next apology. Portia nods. You can't fix someone who doesn't want to heal. Liz glances away. Perhaps that is the truth she has been avoiding. As the night deepens in Port Charles, the lovely scene becomes increasingly turbulent. Old flames resurface. New betrayals take root. In the midst of it all, people are deciding whether to fight, forgive, or run. Nobody knows what the next morning will bring. But one thing is certain. These narratives are far from finished. And in this town, love is never free. At Liz's house, she asks Lucky what he knows about her accident that he hasn't told her. He acknowledges that Christina was to blame. Lucky tells that Christina lost it during a confrontation with Ava and attempted to cut her brakes, but she tampered with Rick's car, not Ava's. Liz is surprised and asks how long he's known, to which he responds that he's known since the night it happened and has been covering for her the entire time. General Hospital sneak peek. Horrifying reveals, scandalous accusations, and a chaotic start to Michael versus Willow. Lucky tells what happened that night, and Liz questions why he hasn't turned Christina into the police. He claims Christina could have spent the rest of her life in prison, and she had no intention of doing so. It was a short mistake in discretion, and she tried to stop herself. Liz claims she didn't, and both she and Rick could have died. Lucky knows, and Christina is only out of jail because she and Rick are doing well. He doesn't see why sending Christina to prison is beneficial. Liz's actions may save Ava's life. Liz inquires, what if Ava upsets Christina again? Lucy insists that Christina recognizes this as a wake-up call and acknowledges her shortcomings. Liz wonders why Christina's mother, a lawyer, can't help her. Lucky claims that it is too late because he is now an accessory, and if Christina dies, he will as well. Liz tells Lucky that this is fantastic. This doesn't just affect the two of them. She advises him to think about Aiden. Liz asks Lucky if he truly feels Christina will not damage Ava. She says she will keep Christina's secret since she has no other option, and wants to avoid hurting anyone else. Liz feels relieved he was finally honest with her and wonders what changed, why now? He understands that being with him requires a significant leap of faith on her part, and he strives to earn her trust. He claims that she is the most important thing in his life, and that if she died, he would be devastated. Liz says happily she is fine and they can move on from this. He kisses her cheek, and she says he transformed a terrible circumstance into something amazing. It was nice having him here to care for her, and she will miss him when she gets out of this cast. Lucky says there are still things to look forward to, such as the meal he'll prepare for her tonight. He gets started with it. Liz discovers a ring box on the couch that Lucky appears to have left behind when he gets up to begin preparing the food. Christina pays a visit to Carly and is relieved she was able to catch Michael before court since she has a lot to say to him. Christina understands that he always wants to see the best in people, wants to do the right thing for his children, and may be willing to compromise with Willow. She informs him that it would be the incorrect decision. Michael is astonished to hear her say so, because she has always given Willow the benefit of the doubt. Christina claims this occurred before she became fascinated with Drew, and it's similar to when she was consumed by Shiloh. Now she's bouncing the kids about, which is bad for them. Michael claims it gets worse now that Drew has purchased property in Washington, D.C. Christina cannot believe Willow would remove his children from him in this manner, and this does not sound like Willow. Michael claims Willow has chosen to prioritize Drew over their family. Michael believes he and Willow never truly knew one another, and they kept their darker sides hidden from one another. Michael believes Wiley and Amelia are no longer emotionally safe with Willow, so he must take them. Christina knows that when Willow gets into the courtroom, she will witness a completely different Michael. Laura tells Alexis' lawyer that she receives monthly statements for Ace's trust, and it appears that $10 million is missing. Alexis adds that she understands her amazement, but she has only diversified some of the funds. Laura is relieved, but shocked that she is taking such an active role given that she did not want to be the trustee. Alexis says Ace's family, therefore she wants to make sure his trust fund is protected when he has access to it. Laura warns Alexis not to overextend herself because they know the Cassadine name carries baggage, and she does not want this to add to her stress. Suzanne interrupts with the investment fund portfolio that Laura inquired about. Alexis asks if Laura wants to go over them right now, but Laura says she can't because she has other obligations. Suzanne congratulates Laura on the arrival of a new member of her extended family, which has sparked excitement on social media. Laura asks, "Excuse me." Laura flees, leaving Suzanne devastated by what has happened. Alexis claims Laura had a right to know such information. Marco arrives to discuss the claim Suzanne requested him make regarding the Cassadine investments. Suzanne leaves and Marco informs Alexis that this fund appears to be a shell company, with these transfers resembling money laundering. Alexis says it's taken care of, but he wants to make sure she's all right with it. At Lulu's, a panicked Rocco questions his mother about the social media posts he's seeing in the aftermath of the nurses' ball, where Gio claims to be Dad and Brooklyn's son. Dante appears and informs his son that it is true. Gio is his son and Rocco's sibling. Rocco argues this doesn't make sense because Joe's mother was a musician, and his father perished in the army. Dante reveals that Gio, like them all, was misled too. They sit down to talk, and Dante recalls how he met Brooklyn at summer camp when they were both about Rocco's age. He claims they were reckless, and Brooklyn never notified him she became pregnant and placed the kid for adoption. He's still attempting to figure out the details himself. He found out about Gio last night just like everyone else. Rocco wonders how Gio discovered the truth since everything was kept a secret. Lulu admits it's because of her. She found out about Brooklyn and Gio, and she believed his father should know. She grappled with what was right to do, and she supports Brooklyn's right to make her own decisions about her pregnancy and adoption. She didn't enjoy the lying, and she couldn't keep quiet about Gio, given that he was in both Rocco and Dante's life. She didn't tell Gio, but she feels he overheard her conversation with Lois about him. Rocco asks if he should contact Gio. Dante tells his son no, and it is his responsibility to do so. Dante takes off and Lulu tells Rocco that she hopes Gio will eventually recognize that Dante is a decent guy and a good father, and he will appreciate having Rocco as a brother. Laura then comes, having heard about the eventful nurses' ball. Gio shows up to Sunny's door. Sunny invites him in, but Gio questions whether Sunny was aware of the truth prior to his arrival. Sunny has his own questions and invites him in to speak. Gio steps in and Sunny reveals he had no idea he was his grandchild or that Brooklyn was pregnant. Gio wonders why he has always been so polite to him if he doesn't know. Sunny claims that when Lois introduced them, he realized right once that he was special. Gio believes there is more to it. Sunny claims Lois is his oldest friend, and the Cerullos are family, therefore he assisted him since that is what families do. They sat down, and Sunny explains that Lois had no idea Dante was his son until she organized putting him with Camilla. The truth about Dante emerged much later. He can't defend Lois or her secrets, but it helps him and Dante understand where Gio is coming from. Sunny claims it took time and effort for him and Dante to become father and son, and it may take time for him to develop a relationship with Dante. Gio inquires, "What if I don't want that?" He claims Dante dislikes him, and he made that apparent following Rocco's alcohol poisoning. Sunny encourages not to make rash decisions and to take your time. Gio asks Sunny whether he's ever stopped hating Olivia for lying to him about Dante. Sunny never despised her. He was just furious with her, and it took time to get over it. He loves Olivia though, and he forgives her without regret. Sunny assures Gio that he is welcome here if he needs a place to stay. Gio thanks him and says he will make his own decision on what to do next. He walks out saying, "See ya around," and leaves. Later, Dante comes and Sunny explains that he narrowly missed Gio. Dante claims he missed 22 years of Joe's life, and he blames Brooklyn. Brooklyn tells Lois in the Quartermain kitchen that Gio does not want to be around her, and she does not want to be around her ma either. Gloria enters and warns Brooklyn not to speak to her mother in that manner, but Brooklyn claims she's only getting started. Gloria tells Brooklyn she needs to calm down and that she owes them respect. Gloria tells her that her teenage pregnancy had an impact on Lois as much as herself. Lois reveals that Brooklyn stated that she did not want to be a mother, so she did what she believed was best for herself and Gio. Gloria observes that Lois lied to spare her daughter the misery, and it consumed her every day. Brooklyn claims that concealing her child beneath her nose saved her. Lois believes that keeping Gio in the family was the best way to ensure his care and love. Gloria asks Brooklyn if sending him to strangers and never seeing him again would have been a better option. Brooklyn argues they can't distort this because she didn't know Gio was her son. Lois and Gloria claim they made certain Gio was cherished and safeguarded. That was their priority. Brooklyn accuses them of acting as if they'd done nothing wrong. Lois sobs because she regrets how things turned out, how much agony she's in, and how angry she is with them. Brooklyn asks whether she regrets giving Gio to Camilla. Lois does not. Brooklyn exclaims that she had known Gio his entire life and had no idea he was her son, and when Camilla died and Gio became an orphan, they said nothing. Brooklyn claims Gio was only 12 when Camilla died. Lois and Gloria claim that Camilla was his universe, and they did not want to ruin his existence. Brooklyn cries that Gio is alone and in anguish, but Gloria and Lois explain that he has an entire family to support him. Still, Brooklyn points out that she was an adult at the time, and they kept him away from her. She will never forgive them for it. Gloria claims they have always done what was best for her, and she should quit hating and instead appreciate her mother. Brooklyn laments that her child is in misery due of her mother. She says they don't know what kind of life she or Gio could have had. Brooklyn claims she never felt completely protected from her Quartermain family, although she was not. Gloria claims that this is not true, and that Lulu is to blame for all of this sorrow. Brooklyn knows Lulu despises her, but this is not how a family should express love. Lois sobs, "Please tell me you believe I love you." Brooklyn knows her mother loves her, but encourages her to think about Gio on stage last night, who had his life broken. She cries, "Tell me if that was the best thing for me and my son." Just then Gio steps in. Elizabeth sat silently for a time, her gaze fixed on Lucky's face. The words he had just said remained in the air between them, heavy and raw, reverberating in her chest like the last notes of a song she had no idea was still playing. She had envisioned this conversation numerous times over the years, particularly on silent, agonizing nights when her thoughts wandered to what might have been. But now that it was happening, now that Lucky had finally revealed all he had kept hidden, Elizabeth was taken aback by how she felt about it, not by what he said. She had anticipated rage, or heartbreak, or the kind of bittersweet sadness that always seemed to hang over their common history. But what astonished her the most was how relaxed she was. Yes, the feeling came in waves, but she also felt a weird clarity, as if something had changed inside her. She recognized Lucky for who he truly was. Not the man she once loved or the youngster who had broken her heart, but someone more complex, someone who had finally decided to stop running from the truth. His confession didn't come easily. Lucky paced the room, seeking for the appropriate words to convey years of absence, silence, and choosing distance over the messiness of connection. He expressed sorrow, guilt, and an overriding worry that returning would just make matters worse. He talked about the evenings he stayed awake wondering what type of parent he had been, and what kind of guy Elizabeth remembered him for. And then finally he told her the portion she never expected, the part he had buried so deeply that he couldn't face it. Lucky had walked away not just from terror but also from shame. He'd made decisions during his absence that didn't correspond with who he wanted to be. Decisions that spiraled and led him down pathways of self-destruction that he hadn't fully admitted to anyone until now. And here was his chance to claim it. To reveal everything to the one person whose opinion he still carried as a weight in his chest. Elizabeth listened intently, absorbing every word without interruption. Her thoughts rushed through memories of joy, devastation, forgiveness, and grief, all entwined in the years of love and disappointment they had shared. But when Lucky finally stopped speaking and looked at her with eyes full of dread and hope, what happened next startled both of them. She did not lash out. She did not cry. Instead, Elizabeth stretched out and held his hand, her voice firm and gentle. "I've made mistakes too, Lucky. We both have. It wasn't forgiveness, but it also wasn't rejection. It was something else. A quiet understanding that neither of them was the person they used to be, and perhaps it wasn't such a bad thing." The topic of reconciliation was not immediately discussed, but the atmosphere between them felt lighter. Elizabeth wasn't ready to rewrite their story just yet, but she also didn't want to close the book completely. Meanwhile, across town, Gio found himself standing outside a door he never expected to knock on. He hesitated, conflicted and confused, before slowly raising his hand and tapping. The person he had gone to meet had been on his mind for days, ever since things with the Corinthos family began to disintegrate in ways he didn't quite comprehend. Gio had grown up in the long shadow of the Corinthos legacy, a name that was both powerful and dangerous. He had been faithful, eager to show himself, and willing to follow the family's unstated norms. But recently, doubts arose about what type of man he wanted to be, and whether devotion meant silence or daring. And those questions have only grown louder after experiencing the darker side of the power he previously admired. He needed answers. Not from Sonny, Michael, or Dex, but from someone who had nothing to lose and had once been at the center of everything before choosing a different route. That person's name was Jason Morgan. When the door opened, Jason stood in the frame, his face unreadable. He hadn't expected Gio, so he stood aside without saying anything, let the young man enter. Inside, the area was modest and silent, in stark contrast to the turmoil that seemed to surround Corinthos' business. It was just what Gio needed. Space to breathe, think, and talk freely.